All right, guys. Let's continue to stream. So I'd sort of done a bit of, we've finished off talking about, printing this object, which is fine. But how would you actually get into this business, if you like, or hobby of printing? What sort of printers do you want to go and choose? There, there's lots of places where you can buy printers. Um, 3D, there's a good website. I think it's all three. Yeah, these guys are pretty good. There's lots of websites out there, but these guys are pretty good. And of course, then there's Thingiverse where you can get free prints and the like. But I used to spend a lot of time reading this site because they had lots of things like buyer's guides, reviews, and all that kind of stuff, right? Um, I wouldn't say they're biased. They tend to, have the top 20 3D printers. The Ender, which is the one I bought in the end originally, well, actually prior to that I had the Anycubic, and it's a good printer. Having used it for quite a while, I decided the power supplies weren't up to much. They had a few technical problems with the fans. Two of my fans failed on the motherboard due to not using CE equipment. They were using Chinese equipment on the fans, and so they were melting. Um, I think they've fixed that now, but Amazon were kind enough to let me return the printer, and I then got an Ender, Creality Ender. So it's up to you which one you choose, but I think you find the Anycubic's a good start, or an Ender, or just build your own. Some people are building their own. There are plenty of you know uh, people out there have created their own. But if I go and have a look at the Creality, I went for the Ender 3 Pro, and you can maybe wait till Black Friday or some other time to get the best prices. I think I picked mine up for around 150 or so. I've seen people get them even cheaper, so they don't have to be massive expensive, or you can just buy your own. There is also, I think, Green Tech do a pretty good. Is it Green Tech? I think it's called Green Tech. I think they do a pretty good. Okay, let's have a look. 3D printers. Let's have a look, see if I can find out. Maybe just go and select the lowest price to the highest price. So you want 3D printers, and eBay will have some as well, but then you want to probably select um, mm, mm, probably a max price of say 200 quid. Then try and work out your prices. So they can start out fairly cheap, work out to more expensive. There's always some sort of deal going on with printers. So I would have a look at the comments, although don't always believe Amazon comments. A bit like eBay these days. Some of the manufacturers up there trolling and putting their own comments. Usually you can tell because their English isn't always that good. Not so it's the manufacturers doing it, but these days you can't always trust the commentary. If people are putting photos and videos up there, fair enough. More likely to be genuine. But you can see, look, even down as low, that's quite a good price, isn't it? Looks like a chunky bit of kit, that. 89 quid. Okay, so the star rating's not so good, but yeah, you can probably live with that. But still, that's pretty good prices. And the prices are getting cheaper and cheaper as you sort of go through. And then you could have a look on eBay as well, right? But I did end up going for the Ender, and it's been a rock solid printer. And I have to say, it's a kit. You can buy it as a kit. I think you can possibly buy it as a sort of partially built or almost ready to print. Sort of the bits for it are cheap, um, but in terms of print quality, yeah, it's good. Very, really good quality, and it's a mid-range or low to mid-range printer. They Ender Pro, you can definitely pick them up cheaper than this. You need to shop around. But this is the Ender, and that is the T800 Terminator head that I've already printed in clear. It's got a magnetic bed with a build plate. It's got a sort of fibrous build plate. It's got a power supply that sits at the back of the frame. So the power supply kind of sits around the back of the frame here. Uses a pulley mechanism, and there's a wheel on the end here that's kind of stretches the pulley. You build it yourself. It takes about half hour, 40 minutes typically build to get set up or get the frame set up. There's videos on the internet how to do it. So I wouldn't bother reading the instructions. I just go straight to the video and have your laptop down the side while you're on the floor, and then just pause the video, build, pause, build, etc. It's just easy to watch a video to see how to build it. The main control panel is over here. It's a processor. It's got a sort of push down knob here, and you can turn it to go through the menu. To be honest, once you've set your OctoPi up, so if you want to buy get OctoPrint and OctoPi. This is using OctoPrint. It's easier just to have little Octo Raspberry Pi with OctoPrint on it, with a USB cable plugs into here over Wi-Fi. So you just talk to the printer directly through to OctoPrint, and as you can see, you can send directly from OctoPrint, which then sends to the over Wi-Fi to your printer to the OctoPi. And I'll show you where to get the motherboard as well, but that is a good starter. I mean, there's lots of other printers out there marketplace. Have a look through all 3DP. This seems to be quite a good website. So that's where I got mine from. Originally it was the Anycubic, but yeah, this is more elegant in some ways. It's simpler, it's rugged, it's very. I like the big knurl wheels at the bottom. You know, where you can these wheels at the bottom where you can level the bed really easily. It's a cracking little printer. If you want to get started, I would highly recommend something like this. You can print all sorts of materials through it. Obviously start with PLA, but then you maybe move towards carbon impregnated PLA. You probably would need to change your print head to stainless steel or something stronger to handle that. You can print a wooded PLA. There's even a foaming PLA now, which I was looking at the other day, which looks quite interesting for aviation, because you can print out parts that then can expand up to 3 or more times the original. So you're pumping out half the material you would through normal PLA, so you can get your feed rate down to 50%. And then the material expands out, so like a foaminess to the actual print, and it makes apparently it makes the prints up to half the weight of traditional and still reasonably strong. And you need reasonably strong and you need reasonably light. And I quite like the idea of a printed foamy type PLA, because that means it probably handle better. You know, if you're a budding pilot and you're dinging them, especially with heavy landings, it's probably more robust. So you get that from there. Then you can get your Raspberry Pi. And you could go to OctoPrint. You can download. If you go to, where is it? Let's have a look. Let's just minimize that. Minimize that. Oh, I believe my browser might have crashed for whatever reason. It's the first time it's done that. Yeah, you can download from octoprint.org the software that you need to talk to the Raspberry Pi. And the Raspberry Pi you can pick up for about 36 quid. Raspberry Pi. You can easily use the 3 or the 4. I bought the 3B. Sorry, 3B. and then I bought a USB power supply for it as well. So all you need is a motherboard, and then you can get your case. You can print it. That's the beauty of this whole 3D printing lark, is you can start printing off bits and extensions for your printer. Um, so if you go and look for Raspberry Pi, can't spell. Um, Here's Raspberry Pi. You probably find there's a few cases up there. Yeah, something like that. You can print out your own case. Um, Take your pick. I think I chose something like this, one of these cases, and they're pretty good actually. I think I've probably chose something like that. And you can just download these for free. All of the bits are up here. It's all open source, right? So you can download your files. Once you've printed, maybe you want to put a, a like up here and go and show your particular print that you printed. So yeah, this is the beauty of getting into this hobby. Or business if you want in the future, is you know start out basic, build up, turn it into a little business. Yeah, you download your copy of OctoPi then, and then you can also download the etcher, Bellina etcher, which allows you to flash the memory card. You need to buy yourself a memory card, typically 4 gig or 8 gig or something around there would do. And then you go and configure your Wi-Fi by editing this little OctoPi WPA supplicant.txt file. So once you've got the memory card still in, you open up the file, you read the blurb, and then there's a Wi-Fi setup guide here. All right, and then usually you can talk directly to your printer on octopi.local once it's set up on Wi-Fi, or type in your IP address. If you know what it is, you can typically go and run CMD. You can go and ping 192.168.1.119, yeah, which is my printer. And once I'm happy that that's come up, I can then go and either put that directly into here in the URL, or I can go and put in octopi.local. It will still come up. Yeah, same thing basically. Yeah, so once you've got that, you've got OctoPi installed, which is a Linux derivative, installed onto your Raspberry Pi, and you've got your Wi-Fi settings good to go. All you do then is hook a cable up from here out the USB port. It's just a tiny little USB connector into the end of printer. There's a tiny port. It's the older style USB connector they used to use on mobile phones. It's slightly smaller. Can't remember which. Maybe it's a Type A. Can't remember which type it is, but you can get yourself a little cable that plugs into the into your printer, and then once it's all set up, you end up with this, and this is talking to the printer through Wi-Fi. Once you've done that, you can go to Marketplace um, in this case Cura, and you can install the OctoPrint add-in, and then you go and get the API key, application programming interface key. You can get it from here. All right, and then you can go and copy that and paste that in directly to your you paste that into here. So you come across to your marketplace and wait for that to come up, and you go and set it up. So it's pretty easy to go and set these things up. In case you're wondering, could you talk to my printer using the API key? You could have a go, but it's not. I'm not using port forwarding. I'm not allowing my printer to be controlled remotely. So just don't you bother trying. Okay. But yeah, I can see here under installed, I've got various add-ins, auto orientation, blah blah blah. But the key one you need is the Octo. OctoPrint one, and that is pretty cool because then I can just send directly to my printer. Yeah, just using that print to OctoPrint. You can also save to a file as well, look, yeah. Yeah, so that just makes life just so much easier. And then when you've done that, you'll be able to monitor. You click on the monitor. Once it's got an active connection through the API, effectively, programming interface, it can actually see the printer remotely. So I can quickly keep an eye on it there, or you can download an application onto your phone, 3D PC or something like that, monitor on your phone remotely. You can't, because I haven't enabled port forwarding on my router, and I don't intend to. Don't want anybody trying to hack into my network or onto my printer. But you can download various options like Chrome Remote Desktop and other things, which are pretty using SSL, using fairly secure remote connection that lets you control your printer remotely. My advice is if you don't leave printer running, a hot printer running in a house, because chances are one day power supply, given that these are Chinese power supplies, I mean the Ender seems to use a very good one, but some of these power supplies are a bit dodgy. And the fans, they are not necessarily European certified. They're not CE, the European certification. They are Chinese CE. The difference is that Chinese CE, the C and the E are closer together, whereas the CE kite mark that's used in Europe, you probably might be aware of this, but CE, I think it's called kite mark, is it? Kite mark, there you go. The Chinese are very cunning. They use, and anybody who's worked with Chinese products knows on average they're pretty good, right? I mean, I'm not dissing Chinese products. They are pretty good. But the CE that's used in European standard CE is a different type of logo, and whereas the CE standard probably, um, yeah, guaranteed C. That's the CE then. It's this kind of C curve and the E curve, and the spacing is notably wider. But the Chinese CE is not like this. It's subtly similar, but it isn't the same. So look out for power supplies on printers and make sure that all of the components, including the fan, is CE. Because I've found in some of them the power supply CE, but the fans are not. So don't trust a printer. Do not leave it running. My advice, some people, the pros there, are swapping out these printers, power supplies with ATX PC type power supplies that are fully CE compliant and can handle, the loads and the heat and everything else. All right, that's it for me for today on Saturday. It's been fun streaming. I had a bit of a laugh and look forward to catching you online next time. Bye, y'all.